Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. I'm Miss Charlotte, a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures, and very often they are celebrities. But today I'm going to be looking at a royal, and that royal is Her Royal Highness Catherine, Princess of Wales. A lot of you guys have been requesting this for quite a while. You also have been asking me for a synastry chart with Meghan Markle, but before I look at their synastry, I want to look at them as individuals because I feel such a sense of injustice here with both of them. Like, they've just been done so dirty, and I think Meghan more so in terms of the media circus around her, but I feel like Catherine is incredibly misunderstood. And while she's a lot more popular than Meghan, she's very beloved, but what people need to understand is that monarchy it's not a walk in the park. Princess Diana talked about the men in grey suits and how unforgiving and how horrible they were. Diana broke under that, and she left. And people keep comparing Kate to Diana, like, oh, she's just like Diana 2.0. She's nothing like Diana. Diana broke and Kate bent. And I'm quoting that series, The Crown. Yes, I am, because it's true. Either they bend or they break. Fergie broke. Diana broke. Meghan broke. Kate bent. And it's not fun. She's not having a fun time, but she will stick with her decisions because she is a Capricorn and she is dutiful. She's a 6th house Capricorn. We'll get there. So let's talk about the midheaven, because this is the highest point in the chart. It is what the world wants from you. It's what the public want from you. It is your duty. It's your public image. And hers is in Taurus, which is the Empress. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because that's exactly what she's going to become in a few years, the Empress. So it's very conservative. It's traditional. Have you noticed that there's no personal placements anywhere nearby? There's no personal placements that are positively aspecting this midheaven at all. There's nothing of her authentic self in this shiny, glossy, pretty, perfect Taurus midheaven. People think they know her. They don't. They know the veneer of her. They know her face. She is a thing. She's an icon. She has been so dehumanized and probably humiliated behind the scenes that she is now she's a thing. She bent. She has Chiron in the 10th house, so she's perceived as the healer of the family, and she is. People with Chiron in the 10th house, and I talked about this previously in the Matthew Perry reading, there's a lot of insecurity about how the world perceives you and what your role is in the world. And there's a reason why for many, many years she didn't have a real job. Like, I know she worked for Party Pieces, that company that just went bankrupt and like took a huge tax payout or whatever it was. That's a crazy story. I'm a UK citizen. I'm horrified about that. Go look it up. Her family's business. She worked for her family's business, but did she ever have a real job? Did she ever really work? No. She had to live the life of an aristocrat. She wasn't an aristocrat, but she had to live the life of one in order to be good enough and to be worthy enough to marry into this wretched institution. But when Chiron in the 10th house people find their niche or find their groove, they end up being healers within that work that they're doing. They're meant to be healers. So that makes a lot of sense here. Also, 18 is the Virgo death degree. Her moon is in it. Her Chiron's in it. I think she might have a few more. But yeah, it's the sick degree, and I'll expand on that later. But what we see here is a very beautiful and delicate English rose, and the rose is associated with the bull. Roses, springtime, all of that. Let's move out here a little bit and have a look at all these aspects and all these other placements. Okay, so do you see how all of her placements are, I know her moon's here, but most of her placements are at the bottom of her chart. She's a very private person. She's a very secretive person. She's a very ambitious person. She's quiet, but she's ambitious. She is a Capricorn. Princess Diana was a Cancer, completely different sign, opposite. I know that Catherine has a Cancer moon. We'll get there. But the sun is the ego. It lies in Capricorn. That is a hard worker. That is someone that will climb their way to the top of the mountain. Doesn't matter how long it takes. And that is playing into the 6th house, because Capricorn is on the 6th house cusp, is by the south node. So very early on in life, she is praised for her charm or her beauty or her dutiful nature. You know, not only is she ambitious and hardworking, she's going to do exactly what she is told. She's a Virgo Capricorn. Virgo house, 6th house. So she's going to follow all the rules. She's not going to deviate from the plan. And she has, let me just move to the bottom of this chart here. This is her IC. It marks out the 4th house of the home. There is a conjunction with Jupiter, which is not nicely aspected by anything. It's very high expectations. Rich family, you know, Jupiter expands. It's in a money sign, Scorpio, which is like family money, shared resources. And her family were really, really rich. They weren't aristocrats. So they were kind of looked down on as like white trash because they were middle class. They were bloody millionaires, okay? It's so funny that people refer to her as, you know, Kate Middleton as middle class. I'm like, her parents were entrepreneurs and they sent her to the best schools and universities in the world. So let's just get that straight. She was not middle class. By the standards of the aristocracy that she was going to primary school and high school with, yes, she was middle class. And she had a driveway. Do you know, like, that's a thing? Like, I read somewhere, I don't know how true this is, but when William started dating Kate in university, that his friends gave him a hard time about her because her family had a driveway. And they don't even use the term driveway. It's something else. If you are British and you're more sophisticated than me, can you tell me the other word for driveway? Because it's ridiculous. She has a dirt track leading up to her house. I don't know, man. These people, they're not normal. Aristocrats are not normal. They're not. They're weird. So yeah, Jupiter on the IC, family wealth, you know, I think she was very loved, very fortunate. Materially, she was taken care of. 3rd house, though, with all these malefics, is of a concern. 3rd house is the period in your life from ages like 5 when you start school to about 15. So it's your childhood. Okay. 3rd house is when you're learning your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s. And she has a lot of malefics here. So that speaks to her trouble in school. Not academically, but she had trouble fitting in. I think she got bullied a little bit. Mars is the war planet. It's anger. It's in the 3rd house of childhood. She is really, really determined. She's very competitive, and maybe that played into it. The ruler of her 4th house, which is Pluto right here, is playing into this 3rd house as well. So you got the family influence telling her, you need to make sure you make friends with the right people. Saturn restricts the 3rd house of friendship, restricts her primary elementary school experience. So problems fitting in, but also she has to navigate these really complicated social circles, and it's just really exhausting. She has to network correctly from a very young age. The 3rd house is the royal court. This was her introduction to the royal court. It's not necessarily official, but her mother made damn sure that she was put into the right schools. You know, even before Kate met William in university, they actually their schools, their primary schools would play against each other in games, you know, on sports days or whatever, and carnivals. This was an arranged marriage. This pretty much was. So yeah, she has a lot of difficulty in the third house, but she has a lot of ambition here. And also Saturn governs the 10th house, which is up here, right? So the ruler of the 10th house, or the planet that governs the 10th house, is playing out in the third house of the royal court. So what do you think her job is going to concern? Local community, the local networks. So she has to be very, very picky with who she makes friends with. And I feel like with this, she doesn't have a lot of friends. I think she has a lot of acquaintances, but I don't think she has a lot of friends with this energy. It's a very brutal world, the royal court. Very, very brutal. Let's move here. Okay, so she has... Oh, okay. The midheaven is in Taurus. What's the ruler of Taurus? It's Venus. Where is that? It is squared off. It's having an argument with that midheaven. So her Venus is in Aquarius and it is in retrograde. So that would indicate difficult. It can point to her having some social trouble socially when she was young, because it's another social planet. But the retrograde does indicate, you know, trouble in love, like disappointing love. It is playing into the 7th house. I know it's in the 6th. I know that, but Aquarius is on the 7th house cusp. So that Venus is playing into that house. So she has trouble perceiving her own value unless it is validated by other people. And that's not me insulting her. I have Venus in the 7th house. You don't know your own beauty and you don't know your own worth unless it is reflected back, reflected back to you through other people, through your lovers or through your friends, you know, through partnership, and which is the 7th house. That's what the 7th house governs. She has part of fortune here, so she has the social graces. She does really well. Like, she's very amiable. She's very likable. Part of fortune is fortune. It's where you get lucky, and that's in the 7th house of association. So that makes a lot of sense. Venus in Aquarius retrograde is going to put up with cheating. I don't want to accuse her of anything because it's very likely she hasn't. But Jupiter square Venus can often indicate someone who's a bit of a cheater, or they have to deal with romances where there is infidelity. And that's an exact square. So, and then Venus, which rules the midheaven, squares her midheaven. What does that mean, Charlotte? What does that mean? It means that the image that she puts out there, this Taurus image, is directly in conflict with her heart. The job gets in the way of intimacy. The job gets in the way of making real friends, of like real warm connections. I think she puts up with a lot. The Mars trine, you see this blue line between the Mars at 10 degrees here? There's a blue line that leads up to the Venus at 7 degrees. So her value system and her ambition are very well aligned. It's quite social. I don't think she's a very loud person, but she knows how to climb the social ladder. She is a social climber. Her and her sister Pippa, they were dubbed the Wisteria Sisters. Do you know what wisteria is? It's a plant that climbs, right? And that's what she was known for decades. Her and her sister. So yeah. Her Mercury, her mind, speech, all of that, that's in Aquarius. She's a brainiac. She's very good at school. She studied art history, didn't she? I like that about her. She's super informed. She's super intelligent. It squares off with her midheaven. No one cares about how smart she is. No one gives a shit. Her voice has... Mercury is your voice and your mind. It's squaring off with the midheaven. It's at war with the midheaven. Do you think anything she thinks or believes or, you know... Do you think that is going to play a part with her midheaven? with her work? Absolutely not. It's all about the aesthetic. And the midheaven squaring off with her Venus, she doesn't even get to dress the way she wants to dress. Her Venus is in Aquarius, which lies in a conjunction with Princess Diana's moon in Aquarius. So she's purposefully tapping into the nostalgia of the public, specifically the British public, in regards to Diana, so that she can stay in favor. So she's wearing things that she doesn't want to wear. Have you seen the way Aquarius Venuses dress? My Taurus Venus is just like, they're kind of all over the place with their fashion. Look at Kate Middleton's style before she became a princess. It's terrible. It's terrible. Now she's a fabulous dresser, but she was kind of all over the place before. She's got no real sense of style. It's kind of like Taylor Swift as well. Taylor Swift has a Venus in Aquarius, and sometimes her choices, there's no consistency. Because Aquarius is not consistent, but you know, like she has a stylist, and she has hair and makeup. So she has people that decide that for her. I don't think she actually has much say in what she wears. It's a uniform. Hence the square, the argument, or the conflict between the midheaven and her own personal style. She's a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl. Very chillaxed. Venus in a conjunction with Mercury, blinded by beauty. I think someone's physical appearance, like i.e. William, she was really taken with him, and was, you know, probably super in love with the idea of being with him. I think the reality is very, very different. But yeah, Venus and Mercury in a conjunction is someone that can be blinded by veneer. It's such a sad thing that her Mercury squares the midheaven, because she's just, if she was to speak up about anything, she would get in trouble. So she has to shut her mouth. She has no voice. Get that straight, guys. She has a hard time, because every time we watch any kind of media concerning, Catherine, it's all about, oh, she's so lovely. She's just perfect. All this British bullshit. She suffers. Princess Diana talked about the men in grey suits. These awful people that live at Buckingham Palace and live at Kensington Palace that are basically there to abuse these people, to tell them what to do. And if they don't, they're going to get pushed out. Meghan couldn't survive that. That's why she left. This girl, she played the game, and she played it well. The moon is all the way over here. It's not aspected by anything nice except for that painful Chiron at 18 degrees, death degree. Moon's 18 degrees. The moon is the home and the family and emotions and feelings, blah, 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 blah. So her destiny was to be a mother. Moon in a conjunction with the North Node is destined to be a mother and to have a home, and that's what she's doing. But it plays out in the 12th house of secret enemies and delusions and insanity and insane asylums. Like, this is not a fun time. At the 22nd degree, what a brutal degree. Brutal degree. She is cutthroat. I know she is sweet, and I know she's in pain, but she is cutthroat. Kill or be killed. It's you or me, bitch. That's what that's what this energy is. And it's just so painful, because look at all these red lines. Look at all of these things that hurt. She's so secluded and she's so cut off. The only relief point between this opposition, the sun and moon opposition, see all these red lines? The alleviation point is the Chiron on the midheaven. And that's not even that fun, really. The work. I feel like when she is out, when she is, maybe, at a public event, usually by herself, she's quite happy. She's quite smiling. Have you looked at her? Have you looked at photos of her when she's at an event by herself? She's so much more chill. So much more chill. I have heard reports that Prince William, her husband, is a lot more emotional and a lot more aggressive than she is, and she's like the voice of reason, and she's the calm one, and she's like, "Oh there, pet, don't get angry." That's what I heard. I don't know anything, but reports been getting out. But yeah, so I have to put this delicately. I think there's some health things, because she is a 6th houser and she is a 12th houser as well. And she needs to feel in control. A sun in the 6th house needs to feel in control. And very often with Virgo energy, 6th houses, they will find control and power, because they are very servitude, right? They're of service. They find control and power with, exercise and food. Like, that's just the nature of the 6th house placement. And with this North Node, she has no control. Like her destiny North Node with the moon, with being this mother, she is silenced, she is secluded, she's quiet, she's surrounded by awful people. Awful aristocratic Nazi sympathizer people. And in order to feel like she has any kind of control over her life, she will just go back to this South Node in the 6th house with her sun and be beautiful and be well kept. And she'll be praised for it. She's always praised for how beautiful she is and how slim she is. Listen, you got 22 degrees kill or be killed degree in the 6th house of health in Capricorn. That's not just a workaholic. That's someone that has issues with exercise and food. It's a form of control. And the 18 degrees are the Virgo degrees. This is the 6th house is the Virgo house, and the 18th degree is the Virgo sick death degree. What can I say? That doesn't mean I'm predicting anything for her. I'm just saying there are some signs here that she lacks control, so she seeks control in unhealthy ways, which in her mind might be healthy. Like, how people are when how people are when they're health nuts and they can make themselves sick. That's what I'm seeing. I know she puts on a very pretty veneer. I know she's very shiny. She's a Leo rising, she's beautiful. And she embodies, perfection. But just keep in mind that what we're seeing is above the horizon line, right? We're seeing this. There's so much more going on down here. And it is brutal and it is ruthless. And she is brutal and she is ruthless. I don't think she wants to be, but she has to do what she's told. She's always done that. She doesn't know anything else. She is the reason why William is as popular as he is. I'll do a synastry chart with them at some point, but her sacrifices and her suffering is all to serve him and the agendas of the crown. They don't care how sad and miserable she is. They don't care how much she suffers. All they care about is how she looks. All they care about is that she does what she's told. There's not a lot of freedom in this chart. But you know what? She's a Capricorn, and she achieved all of her goals. She was destined to. And she's proud of that. And she'll stick with her choices. She'll never admit that she's unhappy with them. I could get into this 5th house stellium in Sagittarius with Lilith and Neptune, and I'll touch on it briefly, but William is a Sagittarius rising, right? And her Lilith and Juno Lion, Sagittarius. They're the two wives. Lilith is the divorced wife, the dark feminine, like, you know, of abortion, divorce, right? And then Juno is the asteroid that represents commitment. And given that there are malefics surrounding them, Uranus and Neptune, marriage is not that simple. However, with these placements sitting on William's rising in a synastry chart, he does embody the characteristics of a husband, of a committed partner, as toxic as it is. So fifth house is children as well. I don't want to comment on it because I don't like to manifest things for people because it might not happen. So I'm just going to be quiet on that. But I feel like I'm going to take this in the lightest possible way. She really liked to drink and she liked parties. when she is dutiful and she's kind of straight laced, but you get a drink in her, she's crazy. I feel like there was some crazy times when she was at university with William. Oh, okay. Well, I think that's it, guys. What are your opinions of Princess Kate? I admire her, and she kind of scares me, to be honest. But she's dutiful, and she's successful, and even in a state of powerlessness, she wields a lot of power in that monarchy. Because if she left William, he'd be gone. He'd be in the trash can. So she's the reason why this family is still standing. And that's the Chiron on the midheaven. All right, guys, I think that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed that. Please comment below if you have any kind of feeling about Kate Middleton. And I'll see you in the comments. Bye.